Good evening, everybody. I just tried making a video and I buggered it up. Anyway, so I'm going to make you a wee video on, I'm going to turn this light off or shift it. I'm going to make you a wee video about my experience living in a bus. My experience of van life so far, because this Saturday will be about 9 weeks since I've lived in it. I'm kind of sort of cheating or dipping my toe in it because I've got a place, I've got a lovely farmhouse near the River Tummel. Ever so nice. But I don't sleep in it because when I left the cottage, I got rid of everything because I knew I was going to be living in the bus. And I didn't want to make myself feel anything like permanent at the place that my good friend Mike very kindly, let me use until I get the bus sorted out. Yeah, so I've been living in the bus for 8.5 weeks. And I've had some experiences. If you saw my previous video, have a look at it because it's a laugh. There's part 1, 2, 3 and 4, but I think number 2 and number 3 were short videos, so they put them into a shorts. So, I don't know, you'd have to find them. Anyway, yeah, so the thing is, I've done it very, very simply. I've done it really, really simply because my dad died 10 weeks ago. So 8 to 9 weeks ago, I had to come down for the funeral. So I made it habitable. But the good news was I got my brand new mattress delivered. I think it was even the day before, or 2 days before I had to come down for the funeral. Yeah, so I just made it very simple, very basic, you know. And we'll have a little look round. Because you could do this, you could actually do this on a shoestring, you know, because I'm going to show you what I've got in here. And I've lived in it, although I do have the opportunity to plug in and charge all my devices and that, because I've still got the farmhouse. But even still, you could work that out. I'll just show you my very, very simple setup. Now, bearing in mind, right, so, yeah, what I've done is done a very quick, simple refit because this has been my work vehicle. So I had to make it habitable for coming down for Dad's funeral. And then also I left it as it was and just improved slightly because I've been doing a fencing job that's took a long time, a lot longer than I thought, which takes me an hour and 40 minutes from Tummel to get there on a good day. I'll make a video of that next week, so I'm going to go back week after. No, it will be next week. Anyway, so rather than travelling an hour and 40 minutes each way every day and all that expensive fuel, I've been biding up near the job in the bus, and it's been great. And Dan has been getting a taxi to the job and back, because in Glen you can phone a taxi and it's called Dial-A-Bus. So you only pay a bus fare. Oops. You only actually pay a bus fare. So that's been good. So it's only cost Dan like £3 a day to get to work. But anyway, so now I've finished the job, the fencing job, and I wanted to come for my mum's birthday, so I left it as it was to come for mum's birthday, because this is my mum's first birthday since her husband, my dad, passed. And it's always nice to see my mum anyway, you know what I mean? She's like the loveliest lady in the world. Don't tell her I said that. Yeah, so I left it habitable. So when I get back, and it's brilliant as well, because I've got 12 grandchildren and I've been spending time with them. We'll talk about that in a bit. And yeah, I've been really enjoying that experience. You know, it's great to be around your grandkids, isn't it? Cost you a bastard fortune, so they do, but it's worth every penny. But when I get back, I'm going to stay here till, I don't know, maybe the weekend. And when I get back, everything that you're going to see, my very simple, very, very simple, very basic way of living for 9 weeks, and I've lived very comfortably, by the way, is getting ripped out. For the proper refit, we're going to have a proper everything. It's going to look cool in the gang. If you're watching this, you're into this sort of thing. People living in buses. Well, there's a lassie called, and her YouTube channel is called Bus Off with Josie. And if you see her layout, that's almost identical to how I'm going to do mine, with a slight difference. But I'll show you. But I'll show you the simplicity of how I've lived. So what I did, I took a chest of drawers out of my bedroom at the farm, because the only reason I saved this chest of drawers from when I left the cottage is because I'm going to bastardise it and use the drawers and the panels and that, because I think it's teak. But it's a lovely hardwood either way. So that's that, right? That's that. And then in here, top drawer, knives and forks. In there is the messy drawer. You know, it's got my lighter gas in it, you know, bin bags. Oh, I brought this because this is some smashing water sealer stuff, because I have had an issue. Anyway, I've dealt with that, and I just thought it'd be nice to bring that. Ooh, frankincense. Yeah, very, very nice. What I do with that is I just drop a couple of drops on top of the stove, and it makes the place smell lovely. Anyway, so that's it. Blah, blah, blah. Messy drawer. The next drawer, that's obviously first aid box. That's full of tea light, candles. That's my a drawer for my chargers. Everything's there. That's my wash kit. Next drawer down, I think, has got my, a couple of pots. Oh, you can't really see, but it's got my small skillet in it. It's got my simple gas cooker in it. Next drawer down, anyway, it's got plates in it. Bottom drawer that you can't even bloody see because the lighting's terrible. Wait a minute, I've got these smashing things off my wee mammy. Yeah, bottom drawer's got my clothes in it. Yeah, so then that's my water supply. I've got 3 of those bottles. That's that. In these drawers, top drawer's got my coffee, sugar. Oh, that's a nice find. I didn't know I had any of them left. I thought I scoffed all them last night. Oh well, that's good news. Wee Brucey boys. And next drawer down, got washing up liquid, a few more bits and bobs. Next drawer down, I think that's full of spices and some flour that's tipped out of that bag. Oh well, I'll have to hoover that. And then what I've done, there's my bin. I made it like a wee breakfast bar. Yeah, so that's nice, because I sit there and have my breakfast and that. And then I wish I could zoom out a wee bit. And then here I've got my ice box, my cool box. I wonder if I can do this. Then you can see. Yeah, I've got my cool box in there. And then at the back I've got just one of my big batteries. If you're wondering why there's a clothes peg on it, it's because one of the crocodile clips. Wait a minute. One of the crocodile clips came off the battery charger, which lives in that top drawer there. So anyway, that's all I had. Right, anyway, I'll carry on showing you. Yeah, and then there's my inverter. I just screwed it to that, and then fixed it to this little dining table. And then that's a cowskin rug that somebody gave me. But the lovely lady, Kathleen, that gave it me, Kathleen and David, who live in the Glen, they gave it me because they know I do leathercraft. So it was okay to, you know, sort of chop it up and use it for this, because I will be using that for making nice leather bits and bobs, you know. Make myself a new tobacco pouch and a few knife sheaths and things like that. Yeah, so very, very, very simple. This is where I sit at night. Look at my wee chair. You see? Nice, lovely. And what I did, I cut the legs off at the back, so it sits reclined. I don't know if you can see, but it does. And if you're wondering what that shoulder holster is doing there, that was my shoulder holster when I was doing some crazy stuff in Afghanistan. Anyway, look, I fitted my wee stove. Nice. Got to be careful how much. If I put another log on that, because I'm going to go to bed in about maybe an hour, I won't be able to sleep. So I've been cooking on top of that. Very simple stove, cheap. You know, that's the most expensive thing that you're going to look at. Well, apart from the inverter and that, the battery, but what was that now? I think it was about 250 quid delivered. Then I made myself a little sofa. I didn't have that sofa the last time I came. It was just the flat wall where the bed is up there, which is also a garage for all my tools go in there. Access through the boot at the back, of course. But then I thought, well, I'm going to be seeing all my grandkids, and anyway, it was magic, because I when I made it, I was thinking about my Jade's kids, because they love being in here in the tank. They call it Grandad's battle bus. So they do. Yeah, and I was just honestly when I was still at Tummel, and I was fixing it up in between, you know, doing the fencing job, I was just imagining my Nevaeh and my Chase and my Theon and that all being here, and Harley and Taylor. And anyway, it's happened. It happened, man. Yeah, it happened. And you know, I was really worried, like a week before I came down, because one of my grandsons, my JD's youngest, he had suspected meningitis, man. Fucking, oh dear. Yeah, my head was up my arse. Anyway, all's well that ends well, and he's back to being the cheeky little so and so that he is, which is great to see. But no, honestly, like I say, simple. I sit here at night, watch my wee. It's not an iPad. It's a tablet, isn't it? That's right. My mum gave me that. My wee mommy. Got my Bluetooth speaker. Nevaeh gave me that. Thank you, sweetheart. Nevaeh's my granddaughter. Yeah, so that's it. Dead simple. Sometimes, look at this. Because I'm dead clever. Just to make it look fancy. Not that they function so much. I just roll some of that insulation into tubes. And then if you chuck that over there... Wait a minute. Tuck that in. La. Makes it look fancy. But that, honestly, that is so simple, the way I've done that. Yeah, so sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a couple of pillows off my bed, and I put them up there, and then I put my wee tablet there, and just lie on the sofa, because that's always been the plan. Since I decided to do this, because of the horrible eviction, it's always been the plan to live as normally as possible, and have the opportunity to have sofa days. I don't like it when people do camper vans and they've got a bench, and they've got a bench staring at the kitchen. Doesn't look homely at all, that, does it? I mean, it's alright, it's cool in the gang, but it's not really if you're living full-time van life. I don't think, personally. You know, it's each to their own, of course. I'm certainly not judging. But it's not for me. I just want to have proper sofa days next to my fire, looking at my fire and looking at my telly at the same time. Oh, because my telly... Yeah, stove's going to stay pretty much exactly where it is. There's going to be an L-shaped sofa that's going to finish in line with the stove. Right, so that wee corner there, yeah, just about up to that line that I'm pointing there. Anyway, that wee corner there is going to be the whole sofa. Lovely, nice. So, you know, you could sit in this wee corner I'm sat in now, with your feet up like that, see? Ooh, or you could sit this way. Ooh, nice. And relax. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because my telly's going up there. Yeah. It's 130 quid for the telly. 130 quid for the telly I've picked. And it's 32 inch. No, it's not. I'm not going for 32. I think I'm going for 28. But it's skinny. It's like, it's thinner than this phone. And it's got no edge. You know. So that'll be cool, won't it? And also, it's dead clever. You probably know more about this than me. But it's dead clever because I can, whatever I'm looking at on my phone, I can look at on that. So there'll be a name for that, won't there? Anyway, yeah. So that's what I use for the internet just now. That's brilliant. I really, really highly recommend that. I mean, I know that 3 is very, very good in my area, but I pay £22 a month for that, and 10 people can log on to it, and it's completely unlimited internet. It's brilliant. It's really, really smart. Because, you know, like with your mobile phone, you get limited data, don't you? You know, so what I do is I switch off the mobile data, and I just have that thing plugged in. And it does that, and it does the wee tablet. I see you watching movies. It's great. It's great. I'm just going to pause this a minute because I need a wee. I can't quite remember what I've been waffling on about. Because it's been going on for 17 minutes, this video. I've just been waffling. And now we're rolling a fag. Yeah, it's really cool, actually. Yeah, so a couple of experiences, yeah. The actual bus life thing. Living full time. Yeah, 1 or 2 people who know me have just been a little bit off. Not the same, you know, because I'm the crackpot living in a bus. Funny, isn't it? How people can just change. I don't care. I know why I've been put on this mission. On the 5th of December this year, it'll be 20 years since I became a Christian. Yeah. I'm not even joking, right? One time, I've been a Christian for about 2 or 3 months. I got a knock at the door from a lad that I'm not seen since we'd left school. You know, when you leave school and you all start going out drinking together till you're sort of like about 18. And then you get girlfriends and you move to different locations. And you kind of drift apart. You know, no fallout or like that. And he chapped me door. And I said, flipping heck, I can't, I wish for life of me I could remember who it is. But I seem to remember it was a lad called Trevor Gibson. Me and him were in badminton team at school. He were bloody good. I was shit, but he was good. He was really good. I was alright, but he was brilliant. Anyway, I seem to remember it was Trevor, but it might not have been. Anyway, bloody blah. Yeah, me of all people becoming a Christian. So this guy chatted me door, and I went, flipping heck, Trevor. I said, I've not seen you since we were 18, 19. I said, how's it going like? He said, is it true? I said, what? Is it true? I said, is what true? That you believe in God? Oh shit, he did. And Trevor had to go and, he's obviously, somebody's told him that I've become a Christian, me of all people. And somehow he's found my address. But you know what? When I became a Christian, I got it. I understood everything. Everything made sense. Everything. And I said to God, I don't belong to me anymore, I belong to you. Send me where you will. I told my friend Sylvie that at church that Sunday. She says to me, oh, Frank, now, you be careful now, son. You say things like that, that's when things will start to happen. And she meant it. She was a beautiful, beautiful Christian lady, Sylvie. Married to a big smashing Brummie lad called Jim. You're massive, you're like a giant. Since I said that, a Bridge Cottage was my 38th address, my 38th postal address. So it was. Now I lived there for 10 years. 9 paying rent. And then the next year, not paying rent. Yeah, so my new address, which is my postal address, my good friend very kindly gave me, is my 39th postal address. And the tank will be my 40th. So on the 5th of December this year, you can all wish me happy birthday. We're born of man, aren't we? And we can be born of the Spirit. So I'm 20 years old, born of the Spirit. And I tell everybody I'm a Christian. Even when I was in Afghanistan, I tell everybody. I've never told anybody I'm a good Christian. But I tell everybody I'm a Christian. And they can give me as much flack as they want. Because the truth cannot lie. Yeah. But the thing is, every single time, come on, let's sit down. I'm sick of standing up. I've been digging bloody buses out of mud. Just got to watch this lighting because it's a bit... I don't like these lights. I don't like LEDs so much, really. I wish you could get, like, incandescent LEDs. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But, hold on, let me just pause this. Yeah, like I say, 39 postal addresses. And you know what? Every single time, God's given me a man that he wants, or a person, normally a bloke. It is always actually a bloke. There's always the odd woman, because God wants women as well, but he uses me as a man to get to men that other men can't get to. I'm not even joking. Every single time. Every single time. Now, I knew this by the 4th address, because a couple of them addresses were in prison. The first guy, prison, was my first ever cellmate. And he was called Dan Fletcher. A prolific criminal. His nickname, with all the screws, was Fletch. You couldn't believe that, could you? You couldn't make that up. And if somebody did make it up, you won't believe it, would you? But I'm not making it up. And you know what? Even though he was a crackhead, and he was rattling in my cell and smoking all my baccy for a couple of nights, it ended up where he had, there's a name for it, somebody who's got like a photographic memory, and he did. He was incredibly clever that way. He remembered so much stuff, it was unreal. And he was brought up in a Christian family. And my first night in prison, first night in proper prison, me and Fletch were singing hymns. We're singing hymns together, man. No shit. Anyway, so every single, so I knew by the third, fourth, fifth, whatever, because God seems to give me broken people, broken men. But they're all good at heart. They're all good at heart. You know, every single one of them, there's been a God-shaped hole in all of them. And now we're at a stage where God needs men. He needs manly men. You know, you think about the disciples. You know, they were manly men. They were tough, hard men. And, you know, just recently, it's been a couple of blokes. One guy has a habit of getting himself into a bit of mischief. He's a bit opinionated, I suppose. But he just has this idea, this way, this uncanny knack of falling out with folk. You know, and I'm not sure if I think he's always been like that. But the thing is, I know why. He was sat in my house, my new house, and he opened up to me, opened his heart to me, you see. Now, I already knew his reputation. You know, but I don't give a bloody monkeys. My interesting experiences is how I'll judge. Anyway, he came to my farmhouse, and we sat, and it was a weekend. It was like a Saturday. That's right. It was a Saturday night because that's when I have a good few beers, and I've always got a bottle of. I try and have a wee half bottle of Jack Daniels in because my next door neighbour, he likes his Jack Daniels. So if he ever fancies a dram, I can always give him a dram, like. Anyway, so I cracks open this half bottle of Jack Daniels and I gives him a can. And then he started opening up to me. And he told me about his life. Honest to God, you can see why the guy falls out with people quick. Because the horrible lifestyle, the horrible childhood the boy had. But you know, he's actually got a heart of gold, you see. And that's what God has used me for. Is to find these men that he wants in eternity that have got a heart after him. My next door neighbour is exactly the same. He's been chosen, it's clear. You know, my pal who drank 3/4 of my half bottle of Jack Daniels, he even said to me, this isn't my next door neighbour, this is the guy who's told me his terrible childhood story. One of the two guys that I've been sent for, or have been sent to me. He even said to me at one point, he said, Frank, I ain't got any friends. I said, you have now, mate. You have now. And hugged him. So I did. Yeah. And as much as when he falls out with people, it grates me because you don't need to. I'm in a position where I'm able to say, well, I wouldn't have advised it that way. What I would have done is that. And he does listen. You know, I'm not being a righteous so-and-so or out like that, but it's good that I can, and he listens. It's good that he listens. You know, and then, you know, I've got my next door neighbour who's, I don't know how to say this without saying too much, if you know what I mean, but I couldn't thank him enough. You know, he's actually got a giving heart. You know, And he thinks note of it, you know. I mean, this guy could be all right, swaggery, show off. I'm not even joking, and you know, some would say rightly so, because what he's done and what he's done in this life and what he's made for him and his family is absolutely incredible, incredible. But if you met him, he's just one of us. He's just down to earth. He's a good crack. He takes the piss, and it's great. And I can take piss out of him, and we have a laugh. You know, and there's respect both ways, and it's clear. It's clear that he is who God chose, along with my other pal. I don't even know if I'm going to load this video because I'm waffling. I mean, my videos are about living in a bus, but my heart is for God, and it's growing stronger, day by day. It is, and it's the knowing now. It's the knowing why I've been put through so much shit for 20 years, and it's the understanding of that, because we do live in a spiritual world. We do live in a spiritual realm, and if you're on the right side of things, you've obviously got enemies, you know, and it's kind of sort of because of that it makes sense. It makes sense, because if you're fighting and doing your best to fight for righteousness and fight for what's right in the eyes of God, then you're going to get attacked, aren't you? You know? It's like the early Christians, like Paul. I mean, he was whipped and that, wasn't he? Beaten and whipped and thrown off. Was he thrown off I think he was thrown off like a wall, a big tall wall at one point. And he says, I'm persecuted for Christ, and he rejoiced in it. At least I not had to go through that. You know, I just move around a lot. But every single time, God's given me good men. Good men that he wants in eternity. And you two at Tummel, you know where you are. Right. And it is what it is, you know. I've done it my way. So I have. You see, if I'd have been like a squeaky clean, one of them wonderful Christians, all polished and that nice, don't swear and don't drink, don't smoke. Ooh. I wouldn't be able to get where I got. I wouldn't be able to get to the men that I got to. You imagine this, right? I'm not even joking, right? I got sent to prison. Now, I committed the crime. It wasn't a crime. It was a punch up in the street. I battered 2 blokes, put them in hospital. Anyway, so it is a crime, isn't it? Because I made a mess of them both, and only because they'd beaten my son. He was only 13, so I took out my own vengeance on him, didn't I? And anyway, bloody blah. So I should have really got sent to prison, I think. But I only got sent to prison because they told fibs. Well, one of them told fibs. He said I used a weapon. I didn't. I used my fists. But he was embarrassed because he was 6'3", and I'm only 5'9", with my shoes on. Fucking hell. Anyway, but within 2 weeks of being in prison, I had 22 men going to chapel within 2 weeks, right? Chapel's only on Sunday. And I did that in 2 Sundays. No shit. 22 men, and it grew. Yeah. Yeah, I said to God when I first became a Christian, when everything became real, this whole thing that we call reality became real, right? I understood everything. I understand the meaning of life, me. Not a lot of people do. Most people are scared of dying. You come to know Christ, I tell you what, right? Like the Apostle Paul says, a grave, where is thy victory? Death, where is thy sting? I've no fear of death. The thing is, if you've got fear of death, you can be controlled. I'm not laughing at you, because most people are scared of dying. I'm just laughing at me. My reaction to it these days, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I know. I was going to pause that because I keep forgetting what I'm on about, so I'm waffling away now. In 35 bloody minutes. Maybe we should just shut the fuck up. What do you reckon? Can I recommend a couple of books? I recommend a book to you. This one here. I recommend this book. Yeah. It means basic instructions before leaving Earth. You like that? Yeah, there's only one way to get off this world, isn't there? Actually, it doesn't mean that. It actually means library. But I like to say that. I'll say it again. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. And to be honest, it actually kind of sort of is. Yeah. Anyway, that's King James. I read the Bible, me. So I do. Yeah, it's good. And then I recently got myself the Book of Enoch, which was heavily leaned upon in early Christianity. And one of Jesus' brothers alludes to it, and so does his other brother James, we think. But maybe, anyway, blah, blah, blah. It was heavily leaned on. Anyway, it's a good book because it talks about the fallen angels and the giants and all that. Yeah, it's cool in the gang. And then, recently, I got myself a Geneva Bible, which predates the King James. They're all pretty much the same. I don't particularly the new Bibles. I don't like the NIV. I don't like the ESV, or many of them, to be honest, because there's an awful lot being taken out of them. There shouldn't have been. Yeah. Shall I upload this video? I don't know if I will. I've been waffling on. But yeah, I'm just trying to speak my heart now, because a lot's going on. You know, a lot's going on. I just decided that I just want to serve God better now. I understand why I've had all this shit in my life. I get it now. I get it. I understand why God has put me on this path. I do. You know, I've been put through fire. But you're refined in the fire, aren't you? I'll tell you a wee story. Right? It's cool, this. I'm not entirely sure which book of the Bible it is, because there's 66 books in the Bible. Although it wasn't so very long ago, there's 240 books. But there you go. Where God says, I'll refine you like a silversmith refines silver. Paraphrasing a wee bit, but it's pretty much exactly that. That's to the point, you know. And anyway, there was this Christian lady, and she was intrigued by that bit of the Bible. So no, it wasn't. It was a Christian bloke. Not that it matters. Anyway, and he went to see a silversmith because he was intrigued by it. And he asked this, and he didn't tell the silversmith his reason. And he asked him how you know when the silver's purified. He said, how do you go through the process? And the silversmith says, well, you burn the silver. I'll burn the silver, burn it. And this is burning out all the impurities. Right? He says, how do you know when it's ready? He said, when I can see my face in it. And God said, I'll refine you as a silversmith refines silver. You get that? Clever, isn't it? Aye. So I've decided that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to carry on being me. I'll have a beer at night because I work hard and I earn it and I deserve it. And I'll smoke my fags because I like it. And I will keep on telling every single person I come across about the love of God in Jesus Christ, whether they like it or not. It just happened the week before I came here. I was talking to my good friend, the Postie, Keith, and I mentioned what's going on. Well, he was very that way about all the immigration, which a lot of us all are, me included, yeah? And we agree on that. And I told him, I said, we're going to lose this nation because we've turned our backs on God. Because we have, as a nation. You look at it. Since I've come down here, now I've not watched TV for 15 years. Well, at least 12. I've not watched, it must be 15, no, it'd be 12. I'd say 12. But for a couple of years prior to the 12, all I used to watch was Gardener's World, Mastermind and Snooker. And I thought, I'm not paying a TV license for that. So that was it. Just didn't bother with telly anymore. But I do watch on-demand TV. I might just put a log on fire. It's getting a bit nippy here. But I'm not even joking. The moral decline that I've seen since I've come here. Because I go in people's houses and tellies are on. I can't believe it. I actually cannot. I actually I'm flipping flabbergasted as to the filth that I see on TV these days. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's bloody awful. I'm going to pause this because I need a wee again. I drink 1 can of beer, I need 2 wees. Helps me lose weight. Hello again. Yeah, I just put a log on fire, but I don't think it's going to take. Anyway, go on, won't it? I'll soon be in my bed. Yeah, but what I was saying, I was talking to Keith the Postie, and I told him that, and then he was saying things like, he says, I really like Christian values, but I can't believe the Bible stories. I believe every single one of them. Because there's evidence to prove all of them. And anyway, that was that. And then this old chap came, and this old chap, he's so sprightly and fit and active, he's fitter and active than me. And he's 30 years older than me. Is he? No, he's not. That'll make him nearly 90. Yeah, he's 80. And Keith told him, he says, oh, we were just chatting away, and I said, Leo, we put the world to rights, mate. And he says, and then Keith says, it was just when Frank started talking about the Bible and God, I was ready to start the engine and drive away. Anyway, we just had a laugh about it. I didn't poke back at my friend Keith. He's a lovely man. And so anyway, that was it. So Keith had to go off because he's obviously the post. He's got a schedule and that. And so that left me and my pal, my estate owner pal, chatting away, and his two lovely dogs. And then he brought the subject up. He brought it up, not me. And I said to him, I said, it takes any man, all of you, I'm telling all of you, any man, any woman, it takes you 10 minutes, 10 minutes of your life, and mean it. And you say to God, prove it. Prove to me you exist. And he will. He will. And he'll do it in the only way that you'll understand. I know. You see, the thing is that God wants a personal relationship with you. So if you got saved the same way I did, you got to know God the same way I did, it won't be personal, would it? Because me and you'd have the same thing. I know a guy, one of the toughest lads I've ever met, a successful gym owner and a bodybuilder, competition winner, and he's been doing cage fighting or that MMA kind of fighting for ages, but the most humble lad, the most humble, smashing, lovely bloke. And I used to go to his gym before I moved up to the Highlands. I used to go to his gym, and and of course I was told him about Jesus, and he had half an ear to listen. Anyway, and things progressed, and then we agreed that he was gonna train me physically, or help me, and I'd help him to train spiritually. You see. Anyway, and he got on it, and it was ace, you could tell it was fertile ground that I was trying to plant in. Now listen to this. This guy got saved. You know your tapes when you're a fighter, and you put your tapes around your hand before your glove goes on. Right. So he'd done a bit of this MMA and got involved in it a wee bit. And in our gym, his gym, there was this like glass box thing where lasses used to do yoga and things like that with them balls and stuff. So there was no punch bag in his gym or nothing like that. There was none of that kind of activity went on in that gym. It was just, a fitness gym really. But certainly nothing to do with boxing or anything like that. Anyway, some famous MMA guy was coming to see my big mate Mark in his gym, and he was going to spar with him in that wee glass box room. And but Mark, he didn't have any tapes. And he felt a right numpty, because this guy was dead intimidating. I mean, for Mark, actually, he just popped it for Mark. If you see the physical size of it, for Mark to be intimidated by anybody, you're like, who's turning up Goliath? Anyway, but it was, because again, Mark's a humble lad, he's obviously full of respect. And anyway, he felt daft. And he thought, I'm just going to have to explain myself away and this and that. So he's done his workout and done his gym, and maybe he's packed up and locked up, whatever. And he's gone into his showers in his gym. And he was praying about his situation with meeting this guy he's nervous to meet. Anyway, he's gone in for a shower, and this is what saved Mark. There was a pair of tapes, brand new, on the thing in the shower where you put your soap. I mean, how did that happen? In a gym that doesn't have that kind of facility, never has. Anyway, so, your testimony, if you spend 10 minutes saying to God, go on, prove it, but you need to mean it. You need to mean it. Yeah, mean it, Everybody's got a God-shaped hole in them. You mean it, and it'll happen. I don't know if I'm going to upload this video. I'll watch it and see how I feel about it, but just trying to speak from the heart. If I don't upload it, I'll try and do it differently. Maybe I should leave it, but I'm conscientious because it's been going on for 49 minutes and 49 seconds. Yeah, my mum was always saying I talk too much. And I keep saying to her, it was you that taught me to talk. And since I started talking, you've been telling me to shut up. There you go. Aye, so that's it. So anyway, we started off this long video talking about bus life, and ended up talking about the main important thing really in this life is God. It is, because there's only so long until we all stand before our Creator. I did a thing once. I should get you the proper figures. I will do, right? I'll get you the proper figures. When I was thinking for ages, as a younger Christian, how many people born after me have already lived and died? So how many people younger than me have already lived and died? Anyway, I don't know when it was, but I asked the AI. So it can't have been that long ago, because I've not been on that Twitter for very long, really. I was on it when it used to be called Twitter, but then I called Lady Gaga a satanic whore, and I got kicked off. But then when it became X, I got it back on. So that's when I asked the AI, how many people are born after 1968 have already died? And it gave me a figure, and I'm sure it was about 15 million people. So 15 million people younger than me have had their life. It's been and gone. That humbles you, man. You know, that's why growing old, I like it. I don't like the aches and pains, but there's things we can do about that. You know, I could probably clean up my act a bit that way, and maybe I will. But you know, when you think about that, so if you turn 50, it means that, let's say you're 50 now, that means that 10 million people, now do your own AI googly thing, you'll find them right. Around about 10 million people born after you are already dead. They've already had their big meeting with God. So the fact that you're in this message is a blessing on its own, isn't it? Right, God bless each and all of you. Like I say, I don't know if I'm going to upload this bloody video because I've been waffling on, but it's where my heart is, and it's where I'm going to go with all this. I might even shut down this channel and just start a Christian channel, but then again, nah, bollocks. I'll just carry on, because I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, because a lot of people don't like God. A lot of people are frightened of God. But let me tell you a fact. This is the only thing you need to know about God. There's two gods. There's two gods. There's the God we want, and the God who is. God bless each and every one of you.